All right. Hey, what's up? What's going on, everybody? Now, as you know, we got Nolan Wells Autopsy today, the independent one. And in that, I was like, the biggest story that I know everybody's going to talk about or have talked about is basically the throat being missing and the throat being gone. And that is a big situation. I was like, just, I guess, not in the way that everybody was talking about, just because it's like, like with other autopsies and stuff like that, the throat along with other organs are separated. So, it not being necessarily with the body is the alarm in of itself, but it's with the connection to everything else when you hear about the body already being in a poor position to be looked at because of how they have like either done something to it, let it like go ahead and just decompose and stuff like that. And I think that's the part that's kind of alarming. That's the part that's troubling, is that it has been like what, over like 2 weeks or so that we have had anything that of like substance of when it has came to the autopsy part. I was like, there's been other stuff going on, but with that being said, I was like, when you hear that is missing, obviously the first and main thing, and also everything that races through everybody's mind is, um, so that part's not there. Cool, you could say that you're still doing investigation on it, but you've been investigating on this for how long? And I was like, you still haven't gave everything that's needed in order for them to get what they need. I was like, so that already in of itself is already sort of like the the red flags on the red flags of the red flags. I was like, this whole thing is basically just a whole red flag from everything that's gone on. That doesn't help at all. And the fact that it's like they talked about like a bruising on the back of the head, which even after this time, that they were still able to see that and all this other stuff. Cause I was like, because of the way they have done the body and taken so long to do stuff, I was like, that the rest of the body you can't tell in the same manner if there's bruises and things like that. But for the back of the head to still be in that situation lets us know, like, yo, what is going on there. And then I was like, look, let's be honest. As soon as we hear the throat thing, we're already hearing that they pretty much either have. I was like, we already could think that, hey, either there was somebody that was over here forcing with their hands, or somebody got a rope. That's really kind of what it sort of just jumps to. It's like, why do y'all still need to keep it after all this time? Y'all even said nothing about the regular autopsy, but y'all haven't. But now all of a sudden we don't have this other part that is crucial to them, and them to see what else is going on. I'm like, you sound fishy among fish. That's already what's going on. So look, I was like, that along with at the same amount of time that I was like all this other stuff, and like I just wanted to also say that the reason I was like, I haven't really been doing Nolan Wells videos is because I was like, because I was like, I feel like there's other people out there that's doing a way better job of like with like the details and things that they're hearing and stuff like that. But also, I don't want to also be necessarily one of those people, especially like my channel still is like new, that I feel like it's grifting off of like some of this young man's life. So I was like, that's why I haven't. And plus, I was like, a lot of the stuff is really speculation on speculation on speculation. Even though we all got that feeling that's like, nah, this ain't right, this is wrong, something's up. There's too many people with their hands in the cookie jar right now of all this terrible mess that's going on. So so whether it's stuff like that, where it's like the none of the dudes talking or whatever, I was like, now we're talking about the Katie that was like, oh yeah, he left with them and stuff, and how we was like, oh, she's cooperating, things is fine and stuff. Now it's like, maybe we need to circle back over to there. I was like, something about like her cousin on the run. Okay, I was like, that's awful, that's weird. I was like, was that Nolan on another boat and things like that, things that we're all trying to use to piece together this whole situation, like just like everybody else. And to be honest, I was like, everybody else seemed to be doing a better job than it does from the same from the sheriff and all that down there. But that's because we feel like, oh, y'all hiding something's up. Um, yeah. So I was like, so the autopsy, I think, doesn't prove how, but it does prove that something happened. And then you add that along with how some of the friends, many quotations I could use, have been talking and acting, and all of them seem weird. All of them seem off. Um, then Officer Tatum got warned one dude that was on the boat to talk or whatever, and just like a lot of the other ones, it was really just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Like there was nothing. There was nothing really of significance. There was nothing really of, and it, first of all, the fact that this is the first time we're hearing of anybody, and it's this interview here with him of all people, and nothing coming from it. Like like it ain't like it was like somebody off of like Good Morning America was. I was like, not that that would have been even more like in your face or whatever like that. But there's nobody really doing an interview that's like worth damn, that's really going to question him. Also, this is the first time he talks about anything, and it's like, well, that's just odd. That's weird, isn't it? Like the first time they speak is to him, and it's in a nice, comfortable setting. Nothing's going on. Hey, it doesn't seem like the police talk to you. It doesn't seem like anybody else talk to you. Oh, okay, cool. You're just chilling. You about to go back to your room, play some PlayStation or something. That's what you're probably gonna do. Okay, sure. Um, but yeah, no, it was pretty much a bunch of mumbo jumbo where it's like I was there. There were so many people there. There were so many people around. I was talking to this group of friends. I was talking to this group of friends. I was like, yeah, I talked to Nolan like maybe like I ain't even got fingers enough to count. And but over here and over there, and it's just like I get it. It's a whole bunch of like, yo, I know he was around, but not really. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, this still goes back to being like, that's your dog, as you say, that's your friend or whatever. He came with you and like 30 other people on separate boats and stuff. And I was like, did he get, I was like, like, you don't know where he went. You don't know who he got to ride with. You don't know you don't know anything else. You and the hundreds of people that was also around, that none of them is also saying anything or came up with anything at all either. Like on one hand, it's like I get that you're saying all these things in order not to really incriminate yourself and be like I was there with them the whole time. It's like no, I was around that so many people from everywhere that I was like I knew I seen him. I talked to him a couple of times, but I don't know what he was doing. I don't know what he was doing. But at the same time, how did none of y'all also see anything? None of y'all. There ain't nobody posting out anything. No, there ain't no videos of that of like that whole place. Like this. You're basically yes. You're on an island. It's a like basically a beach. It's a party. It's all this other stuff. You mean to tell me a whole bunch of young kids ain't got videos of what was going on that night? Nothing crazy and nothing like just being like shot. Like there ain't nothing going on. That's the part that I find weird. I'm like, nobody has posted anything of that day, of that fun. But if you go anywhere else, July 4th, go to the beach, you go Cancun, you go to wherever, people's taking pictures, people taking videos of it all. But now, no, but nobody ain't got nothing. Okay, cool. So we're just gonna keep standing on that, and that's why it still is fishy. That's why everything is still. You can't rule anything out. There's nothing to rule. There's no way to even the autopsy comes out. It just brings up more questions. It ain't solving anything. I mean, it's helping, but it's not solving anything, and that's sort of been the problem here. That nothing has been worth a damn of being solved. I was like, are we getting steps closer? Sure. But also the way that they have sort of just let that poor kid's like body you know, just be let. I'm like, I'm pretty sure they don't just like let it be or whatever, then take care of it properly so that when Crump and all them got it, that you'd be like, you can't do what you need to do to your best ability to see what happened. And I was like, out of right now, I was like, look, and I was like, why I said I was like, the reason I was like, there was some actual significant stuff here that I felt like I was like make a video on and talk about it, and also keep it going as well. And look, I was like, this is not like the only case that's going around and nothing like that. It's just the one that got the main headlines. I was like, that's now starting to, you see Judge Mathis talking about it now. You see Nancy Grace talking about it. You see it on Good Morning America, obviously. Like there's like to where it's like, hey, they're gonna. I was like, people are still keeping this on, and I was like, even like they said, like they know that it's going to eventually sort of die down in a way, but that doesn't mean that it's going to go away because this this ain't just like, oh, somebody passed away, or it was like there's too much going on that makes it a lot more than it needs to be. That if somebody would just say, yo, this what happened, and that's how it is, and that's the end of it. But everybody, but everybody sort of being shady. Everybody being shady. Yeah, I was like, they ain't really nobody. I was like, that's on the outskirts of the friends or whatever you want to say. None of them even seem like they're about worth a damn either. But anyway, I just wanted to make. I was like, go ahead and just talk about it, keep it going. How it was like, I was like, I was like, hope something could come out of it because I was like, by this point, I was like, there's gonna be a real fight on everybody's hand about all this. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. It's nobody. I'm out.